Hello, students. Welcome back to the online class of Semstar Global School. Myself, Pratima Singh, and today we are going to start the revision. As you all know, that we have completed two chapters from each section of social studies, that is from history, geography, and social and political life. So, before starting the new chapter, first we will quickly revise the things that we have studied in all the chapters. So in today's video, we are going to do the revision of history, that is chapter 1 and 2. Chapter 1, what, how and when, and the chapter 2, the earliest societies. So let's start with the chapter 1, what, how and when. So we will just do the revision of the main topics. So the first topic which we studied in what, how and when was that what is history, and what was the division of history, how the history was divided into two parts. So what is history? So history is the study of past. As we have studied that whatever events or whatever things that has been occurred in the past is known as history. Like anything that happened a day before, a week, a month, a year or a decade or thousands of years ago, if we want to know about all those things, then it is known as history. And many historians has divided history into two parts. That is, the first one is prehistory and the second one is history. So what is prehistory? It is the time when writing was not invented, when the people don't know how to read or write, and there is no record of that period. It is known as prehistory. And what is history? So history is that period when after writing was invented. Now let's move towards the next topic, that is what are the two main sources of history. So whenever we want to know about history, there are two main sources through which we can come to know about the events that has been occurred in the past or in the history. The first one is archaeological sources and the second one is literary sources. So archaeological sources are those sources in which or through which we can know about the period when writing was not invented, and it is the study of past, that how people used to live, what were their culture, tradition, and how we come to know about all these things. It is based on the things or materials remain left by the people. So archaeologists used to excavate things from deep into the earth, and I have already explained you the meaning of archaeologists and excavation. So excavation means that taking out something by digging deep into the earth, and the persons who does this activity are known as archaeologists. So there are different sources in archaeological sources, in which the first one is monuments. So what are monuments? The buildings, forts, palaces that were built by different rulers are monuments. Study of monuments helps us to understand a particular culture, that period when it was built, and about the ruler who made it. For example, if we talk about Red Fort, Taj Mahal, so all these monuments tells about the Mughal architecture. Then Hawa Mahal, Meenakshi Temple, and many more temples that are situated in south. These all tell us about the Indian architecture. So monuments are the one of the archaeological source of history. Then the second one is objects. So different objects like weapons, tools that the people of that time use, jewelry, coins, fossils and skulls of animals and humans, helps us with a lot of information about the particular period. Then the third one is inscriptions and edicts. These sources are very valuable and reliable. Inscription means, or we can say inscriptions are the carvings on stones, metals, pillars, walls, etc. Carving means writing or designing with any hard material on walls, pillars. It is known as carving. Now, studying of inscriptions helps us to know about the ruler of that time when it was written, his empire, lifestyle of that period, administration, religion, etc. And when we study about these inscriptions, it is known as epigraphy. Now, what were edicts? Edicts were the royal commands, or you can say the rules or order or statements that were issued by the ruler of a particular period of prehistory time. Then the fourth source is coins. Now, a study of coins gives us the information about the ruler of the period in which that coins were used. Like the metal used in making of coins tells us that whether the kingdom was rich or poor, and the study of coin is termed as numismatics. And the last source of archaeological source is burial sites. Now, burial sites helps us to get information from the material remains that is taken out by digging deep into the earth. So the next one is literary sources. So what are literary sources? First one is manuscripts. So in manuscripts means these are the handwritten record of information. It could be anything like letter, writing on leaves, barks of trees, etc. So the palm leaf manuscripts, it was basically more commonly used in India at that time. It was used as paper and were used to record actual and mythical events. These scripts are preserved in libraries and museums nowadays, so that if we want to know about something of a particular era or a period, then we can come to know about them with the use of these manuscripts. Then the second one is religious literature. Now, what is religious literature? The books and manuscripts that deals with the religion are referred to as religious literature. For example, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, all these are the example of religious literature. And the next one is secular literature. Secular literature are those which are of non-religious nature. It can be biography, like for example Harsh Charitra. Then it can be fairy tales or the folk tales like Abhigyan Shakuntalam written by Kalidas, Panchtantra or Arthashastra, Kautilya's Arthashastra. All these are the examples of the secular literature. Now the third topic is what is oral history. So oral history refers to the record of historical information which is based on the personal experience and opinions of the speaker. The oral history involves the use of interview, folk tales, songs, etc., which comes on from generation to generation. Then the fourth topic is how do we measure past, or how can we record the events of the past. So the past is measured in years and the birth of Christ is taken as the reference point. The years before Christ was born are written as BC or before the birth of Christ, and the era or the event that occurred after the birth of Jesus Christ is written as AD, which means Anno Domini, in the year of Lord. BC and AD is also written as BCE, which means before Common Era, and AD is written as CE, that is Common Era. Now we will talk about how geographical framework helps us in getting information about history. So the people of prehistorical period used to live near rivers because the land near the rivers were very fertile and it gives the scope of settled life at that time. Then The second thing is about the mountains. The mountains gives us most of the information about history. Like the mountains also acted as trade and commerce routes. For example, Himalayas, they acted as a great barrier in the north for foreign invaders. Although traders and merchants came through the mountain passes in the northwestern part of the Himalayas. So these were the topics that we studied in the first chapter. Now let's move towards the next chapter, that is the earliest society. So the in early society, first topic was what is prehistory. So the time before man began writing is called prehistoric period, and to know about this period or to get information about prehistoric period, we used to rely on fossils, the imprint left by people and humans such as bones, skeletons, skulls, and also relies on artifacts, that means anything that is made by a person like tools, caves, paintings, buildings, jewelry, etc. Then the second thing we studied was what was the way of living of humans of prehistoric period. So the life of the people of prehistoric period was very different. They didn't know about how to make their own food or how to grow crops, and they used to rely on the animals. So for hunting, they were also known as hunters and gatherers. And for hunting animals, they used to use stone tools. The tools that was used as a weapon by early humans were made up of stones because it can be given shape as per need in different sizes. And because of the use of stone, this period is also termed as Stone Age. Then they used to live in caves and or the huts made by the uh, bamboos or sticks. Then the second thing was 3 phases of Paleolithic stage. The Paleolithic age, what is Paleolithic age? So Paleolithic word is derived from Greek word, or all the three, like Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic, all the three words has been derived from Greek word, in which lithic means stone and paleo means old, meso means middle and neo means new. So early humans of Paleolithic age used to hunt wild animals and gather fruits and berries to eat and sustain themselves. The people of this age used to live near rivers and lakes, and the stone tools that were used at that times mainly were clubs, scrapers, choppers, etc. Now the Paleolithic age has been divided into 3 parts, that is lower Paleolithic age, middle Paleolithic age and upper Paleolithic age. So what is lower Paleolithic age? So in this age the climatic condition was extremely cold, and this is the reason that it was also known as ice age, because most of the part of the earth was covered by snow. Then next stage was middle Paleolithic age. In this age tools that were used were scrapers and borers. In this period humans started to live in groups or tribes, and they also formed cultural ideas like cave paintings and rock art, etc. They started the practice of burying the dead with simple religious ceremonies. Then the next Paleolithic age is upper Paleolithic age. In this age, the climatic condition started to become warmer. The tools of this age were blades and burins used for carving bones. Then what is the meaning of Mesolithic age, or what are the information of Mesolithic age? So in Mesolithic age it started to begin 12,000 years ago, and the people of this age were still used to live as hunters and gatherers. The climatic condition was now warm and dry. The huge stone tools were got replaced by small and sharp stone tools known as microliths. Then the third one is, or the third phase of Stone Age was Neolithic age. So the Neolithic age started around 10,000 years ago and continued till 4,000 years ago, but in some places it continued till 1000 BCE. In this age, the humans were totally changed. They started growing crops and domesticating animals, means keeping animals as pet to produce food which are not wild in nature. And all these changes that occurred in the Neolithic age are termed as Neolithic Revolution. Now we will talk about the art of the prehistoric period. So the people of prehistoric era used to live in caves or the rock shelters, and they used to decorate their caves and rocks with painting and engravings. These paintings and engravings used to reflect their cultural heritage or the way of their living. Then the colors that were used to make these paintings were ochre colors that are red and white, which they can easily get from the nature. So the decoration of that time used to represent the different activities of human, and the most famous paintings that nowadays we can see are the Bhimbetka paintings in Madhya Pradesh, which belong to the prehistoric period, and it reflects the activities or their religious ceremonies that they used to perform at that time. So students, this was it for today's video, in which we did the revision of the history section, and in the next video we will do the revision of the geography, that is chapter 13 and 14, the earth in the solar system, and the second one is latitudes and longitudes. Thank you.